You can see that. So that's just DESKEY Films with double-sided tape at the moment. And so I'm going to put this inside the stabs. Don't really. So what I'm going to do, you can see inside. Let me get something. Right, the wire goes here, and then when the switch is up, the wire heads towards this ramp. I guess it's not really a ramp, right? So I'm going to put some DESKEY Films right here and right here. So there'd be two, and it kind of sandwiches the wire. It's going to allow a tighter tolerance, and also it's going to stop metal on plastic touching, right? It shouldn't touch this part here because the wire is going to be heading this way, and then when you press down it'll be heading this way. So this part we don't care about. We only care about this part and this part. So the must-have tool for doing the DESKEY mod is to make sure you got tweezers. Okay, there's tweezers that you can use well, and that's all you need. I prefer straight tweezers when I'm doing this part. I'm just going to show you without any lube. I'm going to put it in without any lube, and you guys can let me know how it sounds. Now this is the part of the DESKEY Films that is this part. It's this part here. And when you have this part here, you don't actually need to cut to size. You can use this part for the PCB. So if you've seen like KBD fans selling their stab stickers, whatever, you can just use, I would rather use the DESKEY Films if you wanted to go that route, because you don't want loud stabs, especially good on silent switches. So you want to cut it to about 1/3 of the size. Half is too long. And it's okay if you're a little bit longer. It's not going to affect it too much, because even if you're a little bit longer, then it's not going to do too much. You can see like it's very tiny, right? Like I'm talking. That's why tweezers is a must. So one of the things with this mod as well, you want to make sure that you are using brand new stabs, because if there's any kind of residue of lube inside these stems, then it's going to be really hard for the double-sided tape to stick on. Right. So remember, we want the back end. So if you know things like plugging the butt from Interly, then it's the back end, right? So we start at the back end. It's quite hard actually reaching out and doing this. So you can see I'm just trying to gently put it into the right spot. Right, don't press down on it. It shouldn't stick just yet. And then once you think you've got it into the right spot, right, you just press down with the tweezers. So you can see now that the DESKEY film is inside that part. So there we go. I've almost got it in. You can see I just need to push it down. You'll also notice that I have maybe cut it a bit too long and it's sticking out the back. So there we go. You see it's sticking out the back ever so slightly. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't really affect it. It's only out of the hole, but you can see that it doesn't protrude further than the last end of the stab. So let me put in a wire into this one and show you quickly. You can see, hopefully now, that you can see that my space, but my wire, oh, there we go, is in there. It's sandwiched between the two DESKEY films, right? But there's still room for it to move about, right? The tolerance is tight, but you want it tighter. Yeah, that's how it works, right? So you can see there's no more metal on plastic anymore. It's sandwiched between the DESKEY film, and when it hits the top, it hits DESKEY film. When it hits the bottom, it hits DESKEY film. So I'm going to do the other one, and then we'll get the Vega PCB, and we'll do it completely unlubed, okay? Like nothing lubed anywhere, just to see what it would sound like and test it out. And I thoroughly recommend doing this, the extra part of the stab mod, which goes onto the PCB, if you use silent switches. When I use silent switches that these stabs are too loud, even with silent switches, because the stab part makes a big loud noise. And what's the point of silent switches if you have loud stabs? If the spacebar is going bang bang bang, you know? So this is Peaches' Vega. Thank you so much, Peaches, for lending it to me. Okay. So we can see I'm done with this. We've got the DESKEY film inside. See, just like my picture, up the top. The wire's in there. It's been sandwiched by the DESKEY Films. Alright, we've got Peaches' H1s here that we're going to use. Okay, let me turn down the volume. Remember, this is the DESKEY mod. There is zero lube inside the wire. There's nothing outside on the wire, nothing inside the stem. It's just the DESKEYs at work right now. The only parts that I lubed are the outside part where it's the stem touching the housing, just to give it some smoothness. Ramen, how's it going? Does anybody hear any ticking? Solid sounding stabs, much wah. Yeah, Nuka. You can try the method of checking for rattle by holding down one side about 1/5 of the way and tapping the other side. Yep, I can do that. So holding it down about 1/5. Yep, so I can hear, when I do that, I can definitely hear some rattle. But is that rattle coming from this part here, right? Because I haven't lubed anything at the moment. So I'm going to lube this part here where the wire touches the or whatever this part's called, and we'll see how that is. But anyways, we'll give this a go by lubing the wire where it clips into the stab. So I feel that's where the clicking sound is coming from. Yeah, I'm never claiming to be that the DESKEY Films gets rid of the ticking sound 100%. I'm just showing you how much it stops the rattle sound, and that I'm saying that it will last longer with film and a tiny bit of lube inside. Yep. So here we go. So now I've only lubed the wire part. So this wire part, that's the only part I've lubed now. So pretty much that's why, very nice. And there's no lube in the stem as well. Yeah, there's no lube where essentially, obviously when we talk about plugging the butt and all of that kind of stuff, there is no lube on the wire itself right now, zero. Yeah, So when we think about ticking, there's two parts where it ticks. It ticks here. Oh, sorry, it ticks here, and it can tick here. When you do the light tapping and it ticks, it's because of this part. If you tap a bit harder and it rattles, it's because of this part.